Hi everyone. In this video interview we're expanding on the point of the statement as above, so below. And the context that we're going to explain this within is seeing the actual reality of that manifestation beyond the veil of how it is currently understood within this world and this reality. And this interview came about from an interview that Bernard just did, in where he referenced this point of as above, so below, and explained the whole relationship of as above, so below, and how it exists within this very existence, as above as heaven and below as earth, which is equal to and one with our very manifestation of our mind consciousness system and our human physical body, as above, so below. Because within our very existence, within the mind consciousness system and our relationship towards the human physical body, the mind consciousness system is equal to and one with the manifestation of heaven in the relationship between heaven and earth. And we can take it through all the connections in terms of how we have become the individualized manifested representations of what is happening within existence as a whole, within the context of as above, so below. And for this reference, we're going to take you through to when in the middle of our existence, not so much the beginning, in the middle, meaning where we were quite well on our way in existing within our mind consciousness systems, and the being within the mind consciousness system within the human physical body, and heaven was still existing and interacting from above into earth with the guides and the angels and the demons and the aliens and the spaceships and parallel universes and existences and everything like that. So to draw you a practical perspective in relation to how our very context of existing as above, so below, is also cross-referenced in terms of the as within, so without, which is the basic same principle. So as within in how we're existing as our mind and the physical, so without as how existence as a whole is manifested equal to and one with how we are within. Alright, so let's play with these two interesting manifestations, because it in these 4 points brings us into the total structure of taking through the point of how we are in fact existence as a whole, and how we are the very living representations of what is here as ourselves, which will assist and support your process of equality and oneness in standing equal to and one with here, when you start realizing that what is here is you, in fact. So let us have a look in terms of the mind consciousness system in how it functions within the human physical body. As we've explained in terms of interviews that has been done, and cool interviews to listen to for a more detailed perspective would be the What is Sex interviews that we currently have available, in having a look at how the mind consciousness system integrates into the human physical body and utilizes the very substance of and as the human physical body to excavate energy for itself within and as its own usage. Now let us have a look at how heaven existed within and upon earth as the physical, is through the act of sex with human beings, in participating in sex, in generating and charging energy which they get from their very integration of their two mind consciousness systems, would give access to heaven to excavate substance, source, and energy from the two human physical bodies that meet as one. And within that reference, you have your mind consciousness system and your human physical body equal to and one with the relationship of heaven and earth, and therefore the relationship between as within, so without, as above, so below. Now we have the next point in terms of our very functioning within our mind consciousness system, in our thinking within the context of self-interest and pursuit of happiness. I mean, that is then can taken into one word as purpose, where we direct and come up with and think about and accordingly alter, change, mold our very living and personalities of ourselves to always get what we want, need, and desire within the context of driving ourselves to our own individual self-interested pursuit of happiness, wanting to get what makes us feel purposed, loved, fulfilled, happy, appreciated, and obviously within that context has been manifested into relationships, money, and sex, in directing our lifestyle according to attaining that and only that within ourselves, and within and during that whole process, what is completely ignored and disregarded is the absolute extensive amount of suffering that is existent within this world, in beings dying due to poverty, starvation, famine, war, murder, rape, abuse, molestation, and we are completely simply only locked into fulfilling our own wants, needs, and desires as self-interested pursuit of happiness through relationship, sex, and money. And even within the context of whether one have money or not in this world, it is quite fascinating the extent to which that self-interested position exists within human beings, where if one do not have anything else to do, one drive oneself to sex, to relationships, to chasing after that point, that pursuit of happiness, and where money for a moment takes like a backstage position within oneself and one's world. However, sex and relationships still remains. Now let's have a look at within the context of heaven, within the relationship of earth, where beings would pursue their happiness and self-interest within death, in going to heaven and leaving earth, and seeking their ascension, their divinity, their bliss, their freedom, which is equal to and one with the context of relationship, sex, and money. And the very money being equal to and one with the being seeking that experience, that fulfillment and enlightenment. And sex and relationship, that process of ascension, of their heaven, of their God, going to their ultimate sexually orgasmic experience in reaching God, in having that moment of and eternal experience of love and bliss and happiness. So, and within that whole process, completely ignoring, disregarding all of the physical as humanity as a whole that is on this earth, struggling, suffering, dying, starving, killing, murdering, abusing, while they're all too happy and satisfied within their heaven, in heaven. So here the equal to and one with point in terms of as above, so below, in how in our very mind, in pursuing that purpose point, we are completely ignoring, disregarding, and simply blinding ourselves ignorantly in terms of our own human physical bodies and human beings as a whole. And then within the context of heaven, where beings will leave earth and ascend or go to heaven, pursuing their own happiness, their own purpose, and leaving humanity as a whole. So here's just a reference. And again, here the whole point of as within, so without, in how within ourselves, in accepting ourselves to exist as that point in pursuing our own purpose, it is equal to and one with how it is existent within the world as a whole, where everyone is just pursuing their own purpose and kind of saying, fuck the rest. And that very starting point of how we've accepted and allowed ourselves to exist is the very core source and origin of why nothing and no one in this world is changing, because we as ourselves, as the source, origin and cause of it all, is not changing. So everyone's saying it's useless, or there's no way we're going to do this, or things like that. What they're in fact saying, it's so deliberate. They're saying, fuck the rest. I'm interested in only my purpose, my pursuit of happiness, my experience of my individual 1%. Fuck the 99%. But not realizing, seeing and understanding that to make one's life worth something more, stopping one's own troubles, struggles, day to day, is being and becoming equal to and one with that 99% that you're saying fuck you to. So we are, in fact, thus, the very creators of our own experience and this world as a whole. And therefore, this whole process is to equalize and be and stand one with that principle of as above, so below, that separation can stop with the whole point of as above, so below in mind and physical, and be here. It's the whole process of bringing heaven to earth, which is what we're physically, practically doing within walking our mind consciousness system as heaven to earth, earthing ourselves into our human physical bodies, standing as the principle of equality and oneness as what's best for all, which is heaven, the real heaven. For us to bring heaven to earth, who must come to earth? Self must come to earth. We must earth ourselves into earth. We are the only key, the only source, the only manifestation, the only ingredient to heaven. What is heaven on earth? Heaven on earth is where all are in fact free, where all are in fact equal and one, where we can walk in actually seeing each other as ourselves, considering, regarding nature, the animal kingdom, earth, the universe, existence, where there is literally nothing of what is here right now in terms of how we're existing in fear, interest, anger, hatred, revenge, manifesting in all forms of poverty, starvation, war, crimes, violence, famine. I mean, it is extensive what we're accepting and allowing at this moment. This is hell. I mean, we're in hell. We're living hell. We're the demons, the devil within our own self-created existence. And we're burning in it. Literally. I mean, the earth is warming up quite nicely with its ingredient of global warming. I mean, this is so perfect. We're creating our own hell, and you can see how global warming is actually in fact being created by us human beings in our very participation in how we're interacting with nature, with the world, with the earth. We are physically fucking creating our own hell. And if you look inside your mind consciousness system, just listen to those thoughts. Not listen to them in terms of following them, listen meaning in terms of observing them. You will see how the demons run amok inside your head in what comes up in those voices. We're the demon, we're the devil, and we're in this hell, and we're creating it. The only answer, the only key to heaven on earth is ourselves. We are heaven in how we are the ones that must bring heaven to earth. We must bring ourselves to earth. Get out of the mind, out of the illusion, out of the imagination, and into reality, physical, real reality. Become equal to and one with oneself, each other, and the world as a whole. It's the only way we're going to manifest heaven on earth. We've just proven to you, where is heaven? Heaven is at the moment your mind, earth at the moment your physical. I mean, it was directly, immediately shown here within the beginning of the interview, as within, so without, as above, so below. And we're in the process of bringing ourselves to earth as heaven, so that we can create heaven on earth. Join us at Destiny and be part of the destiny of existence. Thank you.